my baby now decided to make her stage debut after her EDD. Don't leave too much space in between babies. You should see the disappointment written all over them. Some of them will even exclaim and be like, oh no, you're still here, you don't even go. We drove to the hospital, packed our bags, of course, because I knew that I was going to have a baby that day. I just knew. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinwe. You're welcome back to Nikki Mandy Vlogs. Today I want to do a story time on my labor and delivery story. Now I just want to share this here because I believe that one or two people may take a thing or two away from it, and just to share my experience with you. Okay, so yeah, I had my fourth baby last year. She's over a year now. She turned 1 year in June, on the 8th of June, and I shared that with you all on this channel. I had my baby on the 8th of June 2023, and the experience was, I would say it was divine. Okay, let me just put it that way. Now I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of what happened before that. Okay, I'm coming to the story. Just give me a few minutes. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty of what happened before that. It's a long story. I lost a pregnancy. It was still like few weeks old, barely 4 weeks old or thereabouts, when I lost that, or 5 weeks old. I lost that pregnancy, and it had its emotional turmoil and everything on me, you know. But that, by the way, I eventually conceived for my baby, for the one I had last year. Few months down the line after that miscarriage. All right, the pregnancy journey was it was smooth. It was actually smooth. The only thing is that I noticed that I wasn't feeling as energetic and everything, you know, like I used to when I had my other girls. But then, of course, you know, so after I had my third, I think there was a 5-year gap in between. Okay, so I feel that's part of the reason. I think that's part of the reason why I experienced what I experienced during my pregnancy. Okay, so before I continue, please, if you want to take in, if you want to go through the pregnancy journey or process and it comes naturally to you, please just do everything together. Not together, but like do it. Don't leave too much space in between babies. Okay, in my own case, I thought I was done at 3 kids. That's why I gave the gap I gave. So, but if you are okay, like if you discuss with your husband and you've planned yourselves and your lives and everything, just go ahead and have your babies. Maybe you can give 2 years interval, 2 years, 6 months interval, 3 years interval, but let's not exceed. I feel like when it starts exceeding 3 years, it's becoming too long and lengthy, except if you're done having kids and you don't want to have more. Yeah, or it's just happened accidentally, like without you planning it. Okay, all right, so back to my story. I wasn't as energetic as I used to be. Of course, back then I was way younger. I was still doing my 9 to 5, you know, and just doing my thing. My side hustle slowed down actually considerably, which is to be expected, which is understandable. The fatigue was a lot, so I wasn't energetic and all that again. And then I was experiencing waist pains and all that. Anyway, so fast forward to when I had her. So it happened that 2 days before my EDD, I decided to. I felt ill. I was feeling feverish, and then I remember taking my leave from my place of work, and then driving myself to my hospital, talking to my doctor about it and everything. And it happened that my doctor now had to place me. He told me to, even because I was still contemplating, I told him, okay, I've submitted my maternity leave letter, but I don't mind still going back and just because I'm not comfortable just staying at home and lying around. I just want to be up and doing and active until the day, you know. And then he now advised me to stay back at home. That since I submitted the letter, I should just stay back at home, because he noticed that I was coming down with a flu. And okay, according to him, I was even having coming down with chicken pox. Yeah, so I was coming down with chicken pox. The symptoms, it was just, I didn't even know at the time. Okay, it was when I went back some days later He now confirmed it and now told me, yeah, that it's better I just stay back at home. Then I needed to stay very well hydrated, take lots of water, fruits, just fluids, fruits and all that, bed rest, he placed me on all that. So I stayed back at home. And then my baby now decided to make her stage debut after her EDD. In fact, I was always hoping that I would have a May baby. I actually thought I was going to have a May baby. I was like, okay, worst case scenario, should just come maybe on the 29th of May or 30th or 31st of May or something. But I was almost certain. I was just almost certain that she was going to come in May. Okay. And then this baby now decided that no, she's going to take her sweet time. The night, so I was doing a lot, okay, even though I was placed on bed rest. Okay, I observed the bed rest for like a week, right? And then I decided to now start going for walks. I'll go for walks around the estate. My mom came, thankfully, so I'll go for walk with my mom and the girls around the estate and everything. I'll try to do things, I'll dance, I'll do a lot of things, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll go for walks, do this and do that, trying to do a lot. I'll even do house chores just to keep myself active, because I believe it helps, okay, when your labor process just helps to facilitate everything and make it easier. A few days down the line, in the middle of the night, I woke up to use restroom and I saw my bloody show. So and I was like, okay, this is about it. In fact, I even did a lot. At some point I was even watching YouTube videos. I forgot to mention that part. I put on YouTube videos on exercises to facilitate labor, like to induce labor. There was nothing I did not try when it comes to exercising, or I didn't just want to like induce it the way some people do, like using castor oil and all that. Okay, even I did that with my first. Okay, that was based on a doctor's prescription, because my first stayed over a week. So I was told to I was given that prescription by a doctor that if I take it and then if labor doesn't start naturally, I would now have to be induced. So labor now started the day before I had her. Okay, so that was how I saw my bloody show, and I went back. I just knew that okay, labor was going to happen within it won't exceed 24 hours from the time I saw my bloody show. I just knew, because I know my body. I've had kids before, and that was my 4th time around, so I just knew. So I went back to sleep as if everything was normal. I just cleaned up, went back to sleep and everything. In the morning, I had a warm bath. I called my mom-in-law, my sisters-in-law, my mom. I told them, and then they were like, okay, wishing me well, praying and everything. But I didn't want to rush myself to go to the hospital that morning, because the labor contraction, I started timing myself with this contraction tracker. I'm going to leave right here. So the labor wasn't strong. It wasn't that strong. It wasn't intense. So I just took my time. I saw the kids off to school. That was a Thursday, right? I think that was a Thursday. So the kids had to go to school that day, and they didn't feel anything. In fact, there's not anything that they used to do that I didn't mention. Whenever they come back from school, because I stayed at home like for over 2 weeks before I had my baby. So from the time I started staying at home, every single day they'll come back from school. They'll think that okay, baby is as in that they won't meet me at home. Once they come back, you see the disappointment on their face. They'll be like, oh God, like you should see the disappointment written all over them. Some of them will even exclaim and be like, oh no, you're still here, you never go. So that particular day, that morning, I kissed them goodbye, bid them farewell, and they left for school. Okay, and then I started my exercise as usual. It became a bit more intense. My mom was like, let's just go, because this is the first time, my sisters-in-law were calling. I was in touch with my doctor, and he was of the opinion that I should come in anyway, but maybe not that early, maybe around noon or something. I had my bath, dressed up, did everything I needed to do, and got ready for the hospital. So we left the hospital in the afternoon, but that was before the kids came back from school. We left for the hospital rather. So I went with my mom. We drove to the hospital, packed our bags, of course, because I knew that I was going to have my baby that day. I just knew. So by God's grace, of course. So when we got there, they checked me, and I was 4 cm gone at that time. So he advised that I should stay around. I shouldn't go back home, since it's not my first. Anything can happen. I may be on my way back home and maybe we just had to swap out or something. So I stayed back in the hospital. We checked in, and I stepped out with my mom to get some refreshments, and then to go for like walk. We kept on going for walks and all that, so we were just walking, you know. There was this sort of energy. Maybe it's nesting instincts, you know. There's something called nesting instinct that happens when you're close to your due date or when you're close to delivery and all that. So I think it happened with me because the exhaustion just disappeared immediately. I recovered from that illness, and mind you, that illness, I was so I got better. Like when I recovered quickly. It was a very speedy recovery, and it didn't really deal with me apart from the fever, which was high. And I think I was placed on medication. I can't really remember right now, but I think so. And then, but I know I was advised to take lots of fluids. Yeah, so it left blisters, but the blisters disappeared. Like most of them disappeared. Maybe if I search, I will just see maybe one or two somewhere. Yeah, one or two maybe somewhere, and all. But I had more on my tummy area, and I had a few. They have on my face. I think I had one or two on my face, which I think I had one here, which you still see somewhere if you look close to my eyebrow, one of my brows. Okay, and then yeah, basically, yeah, there's another one here that has refused to go. And then, but everything cleared more or less. Most of it cleared. So that was it. I was just trying to reduce itching. So that's the advice I would give to whoever, you know, experience something like that in pregnancy or even in adulthood, because I hear that it can be very fatal in adulthood. So just try to reduce itching, try to keep yourself hydrated, try to do whatever the doctor says you should do. Okay, rest enough, take lots of rest and all that. So that's my story. We started going for walks, and then towards evening, okay, went back. My mom was kabashing, praying. I even joined her. We were praying. I had to key into Pastor Jerry's prayers. You know, we were just praying and everything. The doctors were extremely busy at that period. Their hands were full because there was an emergency situation that they needed to attend to, you know. And that, in fact, they were so busy, so they didn't come when they were supposed to come. So when my doctor eventually came to check me again, it was around okay, and mind you, before that I was climbing staircase because the hospital is like a 2-story building, right? Yeah, so I was climbing the staircase and then up and down, up down. I kept on doing that, timing myself, checking when I feel a strong contraction, I'll stop, take deep breaths, wait, take some water, all that, you know. Kept on doing it. Then in the evening they came to check me. That was around 7:30 ish. Yeah, that was the time they came to check me again. And at that time, no, they actually asked me. I went to the room, okay, so the delivery room, yeah, where they would check. So they checked, and I was 7 cm or 7.5 cm thereabouts. And normally, whenever I get to 8 cm, my labor is always like that. It just facilitates, like speeds up, like from 8 cm. In fact, when I had my first baby at 8 cm, the nurse was like, "Oh, it's still her first. It's still the midwives rather. They're just taking their sweet time." And then all of a sudden, one of them just screamed, "Oh, see the baby's head!" You know, like that. It wasn't even from my 8 cm. It wasn't up to 5 minutes. I dilated fully and had my baby. So usually it's like that for me. So when I saw that I was 7.5, I just knew that. Even the doctor knew. He was like, "No, he's not going to take me back," because I was thinking I would go back to the room. So he's not going to take me back to the room. Normally I would go with my Bible and everything. So I didn't have that. So I had to send for them to tell my mom to bring in my Bible and everything. My husband was calling in. My mom-in-law, oh my God, God bless her, she was calling in. My sisters-in-law were calling in, checking up, calling on my mom. At some point I had to leave my phone with my mom, so they're calling my mom. My mom, God bless her, she was doing amazing, you know, praying, everything. Everybody was just checking on my sisters-in-law. Amazing, seriously, yeah, the best that you can ever ask for. They were just trying their best, checking up and everything, you know. And then at some point, in fact, I checked again, and at some point I was fully dilated. Baby wasn't forthcoming. They were like, they would check, they would go back, they would come, check, they would go back. Baby wasn't forthcoming. Doctor now noticed that he said there was this the anterior loop, something like that. I don't know if there are doctors that are watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was the loop that was obstructing the baby's head somewhere in the cervix or somewhere, you know, that was preventing the baby from descending completely, like into the birth canal. So that took time. The doctor had to start administering like trying augmentation, right? That's what they call it. Trying to administer some shots, I think oxytocin through drips and everything, you know. I already had my lines set before that, yeah. So they started administering all that. It was, the pain became intense. I was screaming, like, anyway, I wasn't screaming, let me not lie, because I don't manage my pain that way, or I just try to absorb it my own way. Okay, so that kept on going on for like 2 hours. At some point they had to tell me to calm down and walk around. I think they even inserted the tablet once too at some point. I think before that. Now it's not too clear right now, the successions, like how it happened, because everything that was going on was just overwhelming, at the time. So the pain was something else. If you've had babies before, you know what I'm saying. What I'm talking about. Eventually, my mom was actually in there with me. My husband was there, but he was in the outer room, because there was an adjoining room that I would usually go to, to the when they want to check, I'd come back like that. So not the room where we checked into. Okay, that's the recovery room. We had come out to the delivery room now. So that was what happening. We're just shuttling in between. It was, at some point, the pain was unbearable. The doctor was like, oh god, he's taking a time, but that he's hopeful. He doesn't want to operate on me. He doesn't want to perform a surgery because he believes that the baby will just come naturally. After some time, I told the doctor not to leave. I felt the urge to push. I really felt a very strong need and urge to push, and I knew, because once the urge to push comes, it's for me. The pushing phase for me doesn't usually last longer than 2 minutes. It doesn't last long. And baby arrived some minutes after 10 p.m. I think around 10:30ish. That was that, and baby arrived and made a stage debut into the world, and I was like, I am here. When she came out, she didn't cry. She wasn't crying, and the doctors were trying to check and ensure that her respiratory tract was not blocked by any fluid. They were trying to suction, like remove everything. They were doing that. I could hear the doctor saying, this baby is struggling. This baby is still struggling. This baby is still struggling. And then after some minutes, she's screaming. She let out a loud wail, very loud, healthy wail, and that was that. So yes, that's the story of my delivery. So I choose to call her my rainbow baby because she came after a miscarriage, and I believe that God has a reason. God has his reasons for bringing her into this family, because she has been a blessing ever since she came into this family. Okay, there's no disputing that fact at all. She has been a blessing. Yeah, so her name is Chimezugo Jasmine, and yeah, she's a year and 2 months. In fact, at the day of making this video, she's a year and 2 months. She's on the year and 2 months today. So we're in the winning process, the process of completely stopping breastfeeding. So that's where we are right now. So yes, that's it. Just wanted to come out here and share this story to maybe inspire someone, to motivate someone, someone will learn one thing or the other from the story. Okay, and so yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. So how have you been? Hope you've been good. Okay, do you have any similar experience? Was yours similar? Was yours dissimilar? Please share with me in the comment section, and don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.